Leave them out in the sun to dry if you can. Otherwise, back to the workbench we go. So now that we're back at the workbench, let's use our little task light here and inspect our work. This is why I keep just an old dish rag, just an old towel, something to keep my bench from getting wet. And we can kind of just pat dry our beautifully clean elements of the vacuum cleaner. Okay. Now some areas like in here, you're gonna have to get in there a little more carefully, and especially down in there. That's why I recommended kind of shaking it out outside and letting it get some fresh air. Helps that evaporate a little bit better. Or you could even carefully take your hair dryer if you did feel there was a lot of water left in there and it's not coming out otherwise. Feel free to take your hair dryer or a fan on a cool temperature and just blow in there just to help that evaporate out more quickly. But otherwise, again, there's no electronics or anything like that in here. We just want to make sure that it dries as quickly as possible. One, so we can just be finished, but two, because you don't want lingering water to make mud or to encourage mold growth. So it is important to make sure that everything is very, very dry. Before embarking on this adventure, definitely set aside time to allow for that. Okay, at least a day, just to be safe, because it does depend on atmospheric conditions and all that kind of stuff. Sometimes it's just yucky and humid, even though it's hot. And sometimes it's just cold and things don't dry well. So you want to make sure, again, all these little areas in here are nicely dried. And then also in here. And in this tube. Again, putting your little fan or hair dryer or fan can really help accelerate that drying process. All right, so just inspecting our work, I think we did a really good job. All the gook is out of the dirt bin here on both sides. This outer shroud looks nice and clean. This little tunnel is nice and clean. And we just gotta wait for this to dry a little bit more. You can see there's a little bit of condensation still in there. One place you do want to just be careful of is some water can sneak into this little tiny groove, and that's where you'll see some water on the back side. And that's where I recommend, using your fan or using the sun to kind of dry this out even more. But honestly, guys, this was kind of above and beyond, and there are some vacuums where we really do have to do this because they're so gross with yucky, dirty, smelly dogginess. But in reality, more often than not, we don't even have to go this far as to wash it. You can, like I mentioned before, with your damp rag, just wiping, using your tools to get in there, get in all these awkward spots. You can really do just about everything you need to do without even a sink. Let's face it, anything is better than nothing. Point is, this is what we would do for you, but you don't gotta go this crazy at home if you really don't have the facility and the stuff to do it. So